Picture this. You are a data professional eager to unravel insights from a messy dataset, only to find a tangled mess of missing values, inconsistencies, and duplicates. But fear not. Armed with your data preparation skills, you transform that chaos into clarity, paving the way for meaningful analysis and insights. In this section, we embark on this data preparation journey, where we will explore the crucial steps involved in data loading, cleaning, transforming, and organizing to unlock its full potential for insightful analysis and modeling. So let's jump in and start with data loading in our Altair RapidMiner Studio. The very first step is to find the operator we want. So let's type read into the search field. We are presented with a whole list of read operators, but the one we want is the read XL, which we can now drag into our process panel. To make sure the data is loaded in the way we want, we will select the input configuration wizard to walk us through the process. We first select the file, and then we take a look at our data. Here you can change the sheet you want to pull the data from. We marked up a sheet with the data export header to show you how you can handle the skipping rows. To skip the first section, I can simply set the cell range to start just at the first relevant row. In case you have a header row, you want to adjust this here as well, so that the attributes or columns get named accordingly. In the final step of the input configuration wizard, we can now omit columns from being loaded by excluding them. We can change the names, or we could change data type and role. In this customer dataset, we will change the role for our churn column to become a special attribute, a label, and then we can click Finish. Okay, where's the data now? We have just gone through the import wizard. How come we don't see it? Well, since it's a process, we need to hit the Run Process button. I ran it, but now we see an error message. It is telling us that a final connection is missing in order to view our results. Okay, let's connect the ports. Now, let's run it again. Congratulations, you just loaded in the data. The difference between importing and loading is rather important. This data loading process will load the data into your computer's memory, into the RAM. So you have the latest data to work with, but you always need to have the source file available. In case you move or delete it, then the data loading will fail. If you would want to prevent that, then you could add a copy into your repository by storing what we just loaded. So let's do that. But first, we should take a moment to save the work we have done so far by saving the process. The formal way is to open the file and select Save Process, and then select the destination folder and then give it a name. However, let's cancel this here and use a quicker approach. If we go to a repository panel, we can right-click on the folder where you will want to store our process and select Store Process here. Now the only thing left is to give it a name. Let's say O1 Import Customer Data. Great, you just saved your first process. To close the loop on loading the spreadsheet and storing it in the RapidMiner data repository, we will add another operator to our process. It's not hard to guess that the operator to use is the store operator. This time, let's use what we call the global search to find this operator. There it is highlighted. Drag it over, just let go and drop it on there, as it will then automatically connect the ports. The next step is, as always, to define our parameters for the operator. We will override our existing data file, or if you haven't followed along in the data import module, simply create a new one called customer data. When we now start a process by selecting the Run Process button, you can see the file was generated. Or if you already had generated it before, you will see the timestamp is updated. This concludes our introduction to data loading via process. However, before we end this tutorial, let's have a look at how we can export and import the process we just created. First, you must highlight the process we want to export by selecting it in our process folder. Then, we go to the File menu and select Export Process. Then, we select the place in the folder or create one. Let's create one on our desktop and call it RapidMiner Export Import. We only need to give our exported process a name. We'll call it ours for the sake of demonstration, Export Import. Before we proceed to the import, let's clean our process panel by creating a blank process. You can do that by selecting the button which looks like a blank sheet in the menu bar, and then double-click. Now, to import a process, we obviously select Import Process from the File menu, navigate to the folder, select your process with the ending RMP, and click Open. If you really import an external process, this would be the moment to go through the operators and make sure parameters and especially references such as folder paths are set correctly. This process is reviewed, loaded, and displayed but not stored anyway, so the import is not done yet. So, as shown before, rightmost button on the target folder, select Store Process here, and confirm. As we exported and imported our already existing process, we now have two versions of the same process. So we can do some housekeeping and learn this way how to delete processes or entire folders. Just do a right-click on the item and select Delete. In our case, the Export Import process. Before we end this topic and the tutorial, we have some important information to remember. When you delete an entire repository, then you're just deleting the link to it, but not the files and folder contains. If you want to delete this, then you need to go to your file system and delete it there manually. Alright, this concludes the tutorial. Thank you very much for watching.